Welcome to DFS Insights. I am David Geislinger, and I'm joined by my cousin, David Grant Jr. The teams up on the block are the San Antonio Spurs at the Los Angeles Lakers.
This is where each of us are going to be giving you our three key players to focus on while creating each of your lineups. David and I will give you a quick breakdown of what we like about our three main plays, and make sure to stay tuned until the end where we're going to give out two completely free lineups for you.
Nice. So here we go again. Back-to-back Lakers games because Fanduels can't switch it up at all because apparently everybody likes to bet on the Lakers. Here we go again. They did just come off a loss to Golden State. LeBron was out, and he is a game time decision as usual. It looks like AD doesn't have a tag as of now, but that will.
But we know it's coming.
Probably most likely a change there. Looks like, and also the Spurs are coming off a loss to the Sacramento Kings. Light the beam. The Lakers are favored in this one. They're 8.5 point favorites with an over-under sitting at about 238.5. So Lakers are currently still 9th in the West, 6-4 in their last 10, and Spurs are dead last. Then they're 1-9 in their last 10. So not sure really what's going on over there. Wembanyama seems to be doing at least some work.
Doing work. Major work.
Yeah, we'll put in some time there to break him down. Biggest factors I see really on this, both teams are traveling from Northern California to Southern California. Spurs coming from Sacramento, while Lakers coming from the Bay Area, basically the same distance. And they're both, back-to-back. They just played both evening games. They're going to be both evening games again. So just keep an eye on potential, minute restrictions or people tired, even though they get paid millions of dollars to play basketball. Anyways, the current injury reports, just to be quick here, LeBron, weird game time decision. I have a feeling he will play. LeBron hasn't done back-to-back. He hasn't sat out back-to-back games. I mean, technically he did sit out the Utah and tonight, the Golden State game. However, he did play the All-Star game for whatever that's worth in between. So this would be the first game he did sit out. If he sits out against the Spurs, it would be the first time back-to-back, at least in the last few months. So I do see him potentially playing, and then going down. Cam Reddish, he was a game time decision against the Golden State, so he potentially could come back, and be careful of that because I have a feeling he'll eat into some of the minutes that people are, familiar with. Prince, Hashimura, things like that. And then that's basically it. Everybody else is out and still out. Christian Wood, Gabe Vincent, and so on. So how do you see, just a brief flyover of this before we start breaking down each player?
Again, a lot of this hinders on Davis and LeBron being in. That changes everything. Them being on. The good news is Davis did only play 32 minutes tonight, so I think he will play. He's typically a probable, to where LeBron James is more of the questionable, throughout the season. Even though LeBron ends up playing, for whatever reason they put questionable him in front of him and probable usually in front of Davis. So, if the Lakers are going to make this run, even with San Antonio being last, they need to get some wins. So, just one last thing, I did read. LeBron does have this little ankle flare-up, and they might be using this time to get just a little extended rest, especially against like a last-place team against San Antonio. I wouldn't be shocked to see him miss one more game because it is a beatable team. However, it is at home. He usually plays those home games, so I don't know, man. It's, as you know, it's the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
It's up in the air, so it's all about paying attention to the news. So
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Lakers and their breaking news seem to go, hand in hand. It seems to be a trend this year with AD and LeBron's injuries. But let's head over to our player, breakdowns, our three key players, and hopefully, that doesn't change with any upcoming news here.
yeah, definitely. I'll go ahead and start it off with my number one play, and I'm gonna go with Mr. Victor Wembanyama. Man, this guy. I mean, the only thing hesitant is his minutes, but it is absolutely amazing at what he's doing under 30 minutes. I mean, yeah, 31, 27, 28, 29. But it's like, man, against Sacramento, Bigs against Sacramento do what do? He had 5 blocks and 5 steals tonight. Bigs against Sacramento. As much as I love Sabonis, it's a thing, man. His defense just isn't great. In 31 minutes, he had 69 fantasy points. Against Toronto, 28 minutes, 80 fantasy points. So, as you know, I like Bigs against Charlotte, Bigs against Washington, and I like Bigs against the Lakers. So Victor Wembanyama, um, that's going to be my definitely first choice. I will be mixing him up, between MVP and star for sure, just because of his minutes. But you know, he can get it done in 28 minutes. So, that's what I got with him. What are your thoughts on that? And who's your first guy up on the block?
Yeah, my first guy is basically I'm going to go with Victor Wembanyama too. Pulling up the screen here. Yeah, Victor, he's averaging about 27.1 minutes. His usage is absolutely through the roof, 32.2, which is insane. I usually typically look for mid 20s. Like to see it. His average fantasy points last 5 games are 51.9. He's roughly projected about 48.5 in this one. I do like him in the MVP and star really only just simply because I don't want to go lower than that because at a 16K salary, I need him to be in those multiplier spots. Can he be lower? Yes, but I think that would be a rare case to see him, in the flex or the pro, just simply due to the salary range.
Yeah.
He is coming off, basically the last 3 games he's had a double-double. Dallas, he was short 1 rebound, but he almost had a triple-double against Toronto, which you mentioned. He had 27 points, 14 rebounds, and 10 blocks. So he had basically a triple. Oh, he did have a triple-double with blocks, which is pretty crazy. And everybody knows blocks in fantasy, love them because that, points like galore there. So, and he's averaging multiple blocks a game. So, with that, it's kind of hard not to go him in this matchup. And like you said, Bigs against LA, Bigs against Sacramento. They're, money.
Yeah, it's definitely, and Charlotte. Yep, Charlotte's up there too. So yeah, awesome. So we're on the same page there.
Yeah. Moving on to my second pick, I'm going to stick around with the San Antonio Spurs. Moving down here to Devin Vassell. I like him. It seems to be he is the most, I would say, consistent. Maybe is probably the wrong word I'm looking for here. But he's averaging, 32.1 minutes. His usage is kind of right where I wanted at that 25.7. He's averaging 37.5 fantasy points, and he's projected roughly about 37 in this game. I do like him in the star position and the pro MVP. Unfortunately, there's just, with AD and Wembanyama in the lineup, I just don't see kind of really anybody else. Potentially LeBron if he plays, maybe. But it'd be very hard, I think, for someone to out kind of do those two in this matchup. And Devin Vassell, just kind of looking over here at his, game log. He just seems to be the most consistent, like fantasy point production wise for the Spurs, outside of obviously Wembanyama. But I know Wembanyama has had that minute restriction to like low 30s, upper 20s for some reason. I guess to get his legs, NBA legs or whatever. But this Devin Vassell, he's averaging, like I said, but he just seems to be most consistent. I mean, if I was just a game log troll, I would think he would probably be the second best on the team, just solely based on just looking at fantasy points. So, with that, being consistent, 11K. I love the pro spot. Star spot would be even a little too high, but pro and flex for sure.
I completely agree. That's again, we didn't even speak beforehand. Devin Vassell is actually my second pick as well with the Spurs. Mainly because, I'll just touch on him. As you mentioned, his minutes seem to be the most consistent and up high for the Spurs. He does seem to appear to be like the second best player on the squad. And plus, the defense versus position. LA does not cover shooting guards very well. So, right now I have them, I have the Lakers around 28th, at guarding the shooting guard. So that's nothing but good news for him. As well as, I believe I had it up a second ago, 51 fantasy points last time they played. It's like 51 or 52, somewhere in there. So at 11K, not 11.5, not 12,000, salary wise, 11K. That's a steal for what his upside is for sure. So I'm definitely with you on that. That's definitely a great play. Usually we'll go ahead and go on to my final play here. I usually do like to go 2-1, typically just to get one guy from the other team. But the Lakers are just so all over the place. It's too hard to try to do that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Zach Collins as the power forward center for the Spurs. Man, this dude, I've been following his career. I believe he went to Gonzaga. I want to say I have been following him since college. Don't quote me on the college. I just remember he was in the national championship and he crushed it. I mean, if not for him, they may not have won it. He was hitting threes in the corner. He was in beast mode, and I believe he got drafted by Portland. He's kind of bounced around. I'm surprised. I wanted the Kings to draft him. Either way, his minutes are, at least his minutes are, he gets minutes, so that's great. Again, it's somewhere between 16 and 25. It all depends on the flow of the game and matchups, but as you can see, like against Dallas in 20 minutes, he had 34 fantasy points. He's only $8,000 salary-wise. And as far as going against the Lakers, again, he's a hybrid big, which is what we like to see anyway. He is he's not as big as Brook Lopez. That's why he's more power forward and not just center. But he definitely can knock down the three, and then he can get blocks and steals and stuff as well. So, and in case of a blowout, if he gets any type of extra run, this is a dude you want to have. I think he'll be low owned. He allows you to get some of the other higher owned guys into your lineup. And I like what he does. His fantasy point per minute is above a fantasy point a minute. So I just like those type of guys at the lower prices, and especially against teams like the Lakers. So that's my my final guy there. What are your thoughts? And then who do you got for your final pick here?
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah. I think that's another kind of, I don't know. It'd be a high risk, high reward kind of guy. At 8,000, just with some of the other people that are available, just the I don't know. I'd say the iffiness of his minutes. I know he is pretty good. But it does look like he's about a fantasy point a minute person, which is good. But if it's 16, kind of like to see at least in the flex, obviously probably 20 to 20 plus 25 plus fantasy points in the flex spots. So you'd be hoping for these higher minute situation, and I could see that Lakers are 8.5 point favorites, so there is a potential for a blowout. So yeah, no, I think he'll definitely be lower owned just because you do have some higher minute players in that salary range that people would probably more trend to just solely based on the minutes. So that kind of leads me over to what I was talking about. My third guy, moving over here to Taurean Prince. He's sitting at 7,500. He's averaging 26 minutes a game. His usage is pretty low. It's at 12.2. He is a starter. Fantasy points, he's averaging 19. He's projected about 20.9. I'm only going to really utilize him in the flex. Last matchup, he was in the flex about anywhere from 11 to 13%. So he will be semi-low owned, and I think that's just kind of really based on he gets so many minutes. It's just he's not necessarily. I think he's a very streaky player. Like he needs to get going in order for him to produce these higher numbers, these upper 20s, 30s. Like Golden State, 31 minutes. Utah, 32 minutes. He only got 20, 19. He did get 21 in 22 minutes. So he's not, I'd say, the best, but he does get the minutes. So I'm assuming he can get going. I know in tonight's matchup against Golden State, he did go 2 for 7 for 3-pointers. So if he did get going, he did connect a few of his shots that he's known to make. I think he can have potential for an upside. And at 7,500, I'm a little bit more okay with him getting these lower numbers because the potential for him to get higher just based on the minutes, I think. That's kind of where I'm looking at. And the 7,500 does help me utilize two of the higher owned people, so you'll see that in my lineup on kind of why I went this route.
Okay. Yeah. That's I feel you on that. It's still I guess I was a little hesitant to pull the trigger with the Lakers squad because any game now Cam Reddish can be back in, and I know like when that happens, as you mentioned at the beginning of the pod, that will throw a wrench into things. Mm-hmm. And then whether or not LeBron plays is the other factor there. Honestly, sometimes with LeBron playing, it might almost be better for Prince being with like the second unit personally, yeah, man, it's just the Lakers have been tough. They've been a tough team to nail down. I mean, tonight's winning lineup with Golden State, I mean, Max Christie was such, out of nowhere gets 28 minutes. I mean, I get it. It's just, it's mind-boggling. It's like I got Golden State's low-on guy right, but I just never. And Max Christie was even a game-time decision, and it's like it's just frustrating. Yeah. But those are some great picks. It looks like you and I agree for sure on 2 out of the 3. So I think all the viewers should take note of that. And
Well, let's see if we if we agree on where they should be at in the lineups. I did obviously look at it a little bit to set kind of up the slide, but I kind of forgot really what mine was. But, so here it is. Everybody's been waiting here. Here's our lineups here. Let's see kind of where we're at. That's great. We're basically okay. Huh. There we go. We just one person, the Taurine Prince and the Zach Collins, our last three players right there. But anyways,
yeah. And again, we did not talk about this beforehand, so
that's pretty good indication that these lineups are either going to be pretty chalky or potentially big winners here. So with that, make sure you drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts on our key players in this matchup. Who are your guys' top picks? We would like to hear. And also, if you do have top picks, put them in the comments and kind of explain why. We would like to hear. Start growing this DFS community. Everybody's sharing their opinion, so that way we all can get up on that leaderboard. And feel free to ask us any questions about any other player that you do have questions on. We do research on the full slate here, and we'd love to answer any questions. So with that, please make sure you like, subscribe, and like I mentioned before, drop a comment because it does help us out, put us in front of other people. And with that, hope to see you guys up on the leaderboards. And David, take it away.
Yeah, definitely. We just, want to be communicating with all you guys out there. Hey, even if you think our take is wild and unacceptable, put that in the comments. Positive, negative, we're here for all of it. We're here for constructive criticism. So, and again, if you do that, though, I would expect you to back it up with, who your picks are and why. So I would love to get into that discussion with any of you guys out there. Again, keeping it friendly and everything. So here we are in another Lakers back-to-back. David and I are we're becoming professionals at it because he and I are on the West Coast and we're covering these West Coast late single games that have the most money up there for prize money. So we are West Side over here. So look forward to seeing you guys up there at the leaderboard. Hope you guys all make money and have a great weekend. And we got more videos here dropping soon, so be on the lookout for that. You guys have a great weekend.